Coming up on today's episode, you may hear information about different NFTs or investment opportunities. As always, we remind you we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, and some of the information you hear may be inaccurate. Enjoy the show.
Do your own research. Sorry, fuck that bit up. Welcome to Nearly Fresh Topics. We're not quite cutting edge, but we're close. This is episode 08. In this podcast, we talk about NFTs primarily, a little bit crypto, some fantasy stuff. We like to do quirky news and comedy bits, and I don't know, occasionally gaming stuff and whatnot. My name is Ross. This is Jason. How are you doing, Jason?
Oh, I'm doing really well. We took a little bit of time off. I'm glad to be back at it. Well, not that it was time off, really. It was time spent doing other projects. You've been doing a heck of a remodel to your house. Is that correct?
Yeah, crazy. So, last podcast we tried to do, I got interrupted because a digger and dumper hire came to the house, and we needed that to just redo the whole drainage of the house, the garden, the field adjacent to the garden, and because it was just a swampy mess, and it's been like that for, I don't know, 20 years probably. Like it was in dire need. And during the first day, actually, we shore through a sewage pipe. Unfortunately, we're on a septic tank, not an actual sewage,
right?
Main sewage, you know. But yeah, it means I have had to go fix that as well, which is unpleasant. But you know, it's all in a day's work.
Yeah, that does not sound pleasant, cutting through a sewage line. No. So digger and dumper are not the names of the women you hired. That was there's actual machinery.
Yeah, totally. They were small ones, mind you.
The women. Oh, no, the machinery. Women, sorry.
But I got used to the. People kept on telling me, like, if you know how to play video games, you're going to be able to operate a digger, and I was like, oh yeah, if you say so.
Oh, okay.
But it did take some getting used to, like the analog, the joystick sort of thing, and I don't know. But it worked. I got almost everything we needed done. I'm going to have to hire it again in a couple of weeks, I suppose. But we have to take care of some things first. Me and thee,
right?
Not just the house, you know.
No, there are some things we need to take care of, and we'll talk more in depth about that in a minute. But I have a question. Do you not have, like, I don't know much about the weather in Scotland other than it's north, but do you not, is there not snow on the ground, or you just they dug through it, or it doesn't matter? Or
there was no snow on the ground, although there was just a few days before. But I think frozen ground would be better. I'm not entirely sure, but if it's swampy ground, then frozen ground would be better, because you're not getting mired in it and sucked in and whatnot. I suppose it would depend on the strength of the digger, though. Like if you've just got a micro digger, which is like the smallest one, it may struggle to get through that, but something a bit bigger would have no problem, I think. But no, the weather was fine. The weather was great, actually. It was good days. A bit windy was all, but yeah.
Good.
There you go.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I like the updates on your renovations, and it'll become a running segment in the podcast about the updates to Ross's medieval castle, as I like to call it.
The manse.
The manse, yeah. The Scottish home.
There you go.
If you refer to it as the Scottish home, people will assume you have houses all over, and then it's perfect.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. I went to down in the what we call the Central Belt, which is sort of Edinburgh over here and Glasgow over there. It's just like on the same sort of line, horizontal line. And there's a place called Dollar over there. Dollar, which I assume comes, maybe they had a mint in dollar or something, which is where the monetary term dollar comes from. I don't know. But there is the Castle Campbell atop a big hill. And it's not a super impressive castle, but we walked up there anyway, and me and my mum and my betrothed. And I was like, all right, we're just away to visit the family home,
Yeah.
Castle Campbell, because I am Ross
Campbell. Yeah.
Technically it's correct, but I don't have the keys. So yeah.
Wow. And is there could you draw a line from your lineage to the namesake of that castle, or?
I've never tried. One would assume, but then again, I don't know. My history is pretty, short, I guess, in this domain. But I believe your surname in Scotland would be more of a clan name. So
Right.
you would be from Clan Campbell, so to speak. You wouldn't be from family Campbell. You'd be Clan Campbell.
I see.
I assume there's plenty of Campbell families within that clan, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Theoretically,
it's I can't remember if I've mentioned on the podcast or not, but I just did that ancestry DNA test, and absolutely no surprises. 100% European Jewish, but it's interesting to see where your family came from. We started in Russia and then went to Lithuania and then expanded to, at some point, some of us went to the British Isles, other ones just went to North America, and then everybody met back up in North America. So
it's a place to be.
Pretty simple. Follow every time we were persecuted from one place, we just went a little bit further west until the persecution happened again, and then a little bit further west, and then now we're here, and we'll see when the next persecution happens. I'm not in the States. That's all I have to say.
Well, fingers crossed it doesn't, but the history is not looking good, basically.
Yeah, because if I keep going west, I'm going to end up back in Russia. So
I bet it's colder than Canada there.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Have you cut your hair or something? You look different.
I showered, and and I did finally trim right here.
I got you.
I'm
right.
pointing to my lip for those of you listening, because I've been joking since the podcast started that I'm cultivating the homeless look, and while I still am, I got tired of eating my mustache, so it was time to trim that a little bit.
You know what? That's been a recent development for me as well. Usually I'm not trimming back constantly, but since the start of the year, I'm just like, fuck it, I'll grow it. I'll just let it grow and see what happens. And I've never had it long enough to eat my mustache, but every time I'm taking a bite of a sandwich or something, it's like pulling at my fucking upper lip.
Right.
So it's unpleasant.
I don't need to have my mustache hair pulled every time it's often a sandwich. I don't know why specifically sandwiches are harder to eat with long mustaches than anything else. I also didn't like that I had one hair right here that made it always look like I had snot all over my nose. It was just like 3 silver hairs right under my nostril, and so I yanked those as well. I didn't yank them. I took some scissors to them, and now I'm all clean. I'm snot free, and I'm hair free as well when I eat my sandwiches, at least.
Yeah, very dashing.
Thank you.
Very dashing.
Yeah, the audio format is the best place for me to, well, not that I need to meet women, of course, but were I to need to, the audio form is certainly the preferred way to do that, I think.
Oh yes, you have a face for radio.
That's right. Exactly. That's what I'm getting
at. Yeah. So yeah, you did look different, and I'm not sure I like the change, Jason. You've changed, and now it's put me off guard.
I've also a little bit darker, because if I increase the if I increase the brightness on my computer, I just get like cyborg eye, so I can't do that. I gotta take it a little bit lower. Yeah. So other than working on your house, I think we should break form a little bit and jump right to the NFT project of the week, which is really near and dear to both our hearts, but I don't want to say especially you, but it is your project. And that is, of course, Crowfolk. And I'm just going to bring that up here. So what is Crowfolk, you ask?
So yeah, what is Crowfolk? So Crowfolk is it's a generative PFP project on Solana, which features crows heavily. Essentially, it's all crows.
Yeah. Yeah, so 999 generative crows on the Solana blockchain. I like to call them mischievous crows. So if you're watching the recording, you can see a couple of the options, or if you're watching the video rather, you can see a few of the options that you may get. It's all generative, so they're all technically one of ones, but they have different traits that they can get based on the smart contract or program, as Solana calls it. So we've got Winston the Curious, Randall the Scholar, Claude the Shelter. They have their different skill points. I think it's really cool looking art. You know, obviously you being attached to the project is what drew me to it, but the fact that it has awesome art is definitely a nice bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
I think sorry, I think that's really the main factor is it's good art. It's not your run of the mill sort of stuff. Although I must say NFTs as a general rule are getting better artists now, you know. So it's like that's what I'm competing with now. It's a bit harder, you know. But also the names I find are quite revolutionary is not the right word, but it's certainly different. You know, you've got your name and then you've got your moniker, and it's going to be sort of old timey, maybe classical names. You know, like Winston is not something you hear often.
No.
Randall or Claude either, and it'll either the moniker will either be like an adjective describing what their personality could be, or it could be something just maybe not even related to personality. It could just be the crows were like, all right, we're going to call him Winston the Curious and just hope that he becomes curious. But then, you know, he grows up and he doesn't. Who knows, you know?
And then the name itself becomes a curiosity. So it's still all right. Why is he called the Curious if he's not curious? And furthermore, shouldn't he be curious? Isn't everyone always a little bit curious? That's
how
okay.
Peculiar.
That's okay, Winston. Keep pecking. So why crows? What made you go with that theme?
Well, the reason I'm doing the Crowfolk is because they relate to a video game that I'd started to make was it a year ago, or I think it was 2 years ago, in fact, when COVID first hit. And within this game, we play as a songbird called Red, who is not a crow, but his home gets destroyed and he seeks refuge within the Crowfolk tree, the home tree. And the reason I wanted him to stay with the crows was just because I don't know. I like in real life, I was watching crows, and I just enjoyed their personality. You know, like they're everywhere. Like they're in cities, they're in towns, they're in the forest,
right.
And they're just very smart creatures, and they love to play. Like there was one on our usual walk daily that would play with our dog Nellie, and it would either play or it would attack dogs, you know, depending on the dog's character. And Nelly would just love to play. So I don't know, I just found them to be very playful and fun characters. And I was like, all right, definitely want crows in the game. And as to why they become an NFT, I'm not entirely sure why. I just like them, and I was like, "Well, tell you what, we could use this generative process for a PFP NFT stuff thing to actually generate these different characters to populate the home tree of the crows, you know." And also, obviously, you sell NFTs for money. This one is also being sold for money when it mints.
That's what you told me.
yeah. So I hope should we have signed a contract maybe?
Nah.
Who needs contracts? But yeah, NFTs are sold for money, and with this money, I am going to actually fund the development of the game.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so the game itself is a 2D puzzle platformer, sort of retro style, you know, side scroller, like the old games of our youth, the nostalgia games, and I just love that format, you know. Hold on, yeah, you're scrolling down.
Let's
show the video.
We can play a little bit of the game, or play a video of the game. Now, hopefully we won't get it's yours, so hopefully YouTube won't flag it as a copyright strike, but I suppose we'll see. Okay, hopefully the sound comes through. Is there sound on this one? Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah.
So this is some what I like to call pre-alpha gameplay footage of the nest.
So it's not much to look at yet. However, I'm very proud of the animations. I'm very proud of what the coder has done to get the movement going, because a 2D character controller is pretty, like a sturdy character controller is like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's half the job really of the coding, and then you do the sort of environment mechanics and whatnot. But yeah, like I say, it doesn't look like much, but to get to that point is a fair bit of work, and we'll just be building on this base mechanic and actually making something beautiful. And to speak to the music that we just heard, although I'm not sure we heard it too good, the composer, his name is Sean, and he is a beast as well. Like I just somehow I managed to find these people who were interested in the project, who basically didn't get paid for anything yet. They just believe in it, and I don't know, there's very, very talented people, and it's just been a godsend really to have them.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm pumped when you asked me to come on board to be, primarily the community manager, but also to help with marketing and anything else that needed help with. I jumped at the chance. Obviously, you and I have a good working relationship, a good rapport, and to be involved with an NFT project from the ground floor is really interesting, really intriguing. I like that you've got a full story developed. The story follows two young songbirds who are pushed from their home by a violent storm shortly after having nested and laid eggs. They seek asylum with the Crowfolk, who accept them, but Blue is incapacitated by their loss, and Red tries his best to provide for their new nest with supplies and materials. Helping the Crow shaman, did you say shaman or shaman?
I would say shaman myself, but I don't mind.
Helping the Crow shaman, Red unearths the prophecy destined to shatter the world and cover it in a never-ending winter. Only the voice of the forest can destroy the infection that threatens all of bird kind. So I really like it. Really, really cool story. I love that there's already game footage, because you go into so many NFT projects promising games and there's never a hint of any actual game. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. And then there's going to be ways to upgrade your NFTs, and we haven't released a lot of information on the ways you can upgrade your NFTs, but what I would say is I will add a link to the Crowfolk Discord at the end of or in the show notes for this note. Maybe I'll add it to our podcast website as well. And join that Discord. It's a really active, fun Discord. You can earn yourself some acorns, be a part of the acorn economy. And
yeah, that's a fun little thing that we've done. Is essentially we've given a reason to be on the Discord other than just to chat to like-minded people. We created the acorn economy, which is every day or every 6 hours, in fact, you can go in, type the command acorn-work, and you'll be given a certain amount of acorns. And with these acorns, if you manage to accrue enough of them, we're going to be selling companion vial NFTs. Vial, that's VIAL, as in like a potion. And with these potions, you burn them, and it increases your Crowfolk stats. For example, on the Crowfolk, you have statistics. So, for example, you've got your health, your jump height, your speed, and you get 1 out of 5 statistics. Yeah. So, with a skill vial that you buy with the acorn economy, you can give yourself 1 stat to the tree of your choice. Additionally, we'll have like an alias. How do you say that? Alias. That's the one. Thank you. An alias vial, where you get to actually pick the name of your Crowfolk. So if you really want your Crowfolk to have your name on it, boom, you can buy yourself an alias vial and get it changed to Ross the Mighty, for example.
Ross the Mighty, the Curious. And so yeah, I'm just showing our Discord. As much as I hate sharing my Discord, you can see all the activity here. We've got the Smuggler's Den, where you can do some crime. You shorted a meme stock and earned 3 acorns, things like that. We have our magistrate to fine bad behavior in the Discord, and our councilman to reward good behavior in the Discord. So definitely come on over and check out the Discord and join the acorn economy.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. And I may as well just say we don't give out the roles. It's community based. It's like, so if you elect someone to be your councilman, that's them. Same
Right.
for the magistrate. It's got nothing to do with us.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we have a current crop of councilmen who really enjoy rewarding themselves. I believe the term would be a shit ton of acorns, but our magistrate seems to be keeping them in place pretty well. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really why we needed a magistrate. You know, like your petty crimes are fine, but when councilmen are giving themselves 100 acorns at a time, you know,
yeah, we
you're
don't
like,
want
all
it to
right.
be too realistic. So we need to keep a limit on how much the councilmen can give each other.
For sure, for sure. Oh, there's another thing we didn't talk about. The statistics on the NFT, they do actually affect the gameplay of the game. So we're doing a story mode first and foremost. It's all about the story, but there will be a competitive mode where your Crowfolk NFT skills transfer to the main character Red. So that gives you more health or more jump height or more speed, yada yada. You know, so if you've got one statistic for health with just 1 point, you're not going to have a lot of health. But if you have five, you're going to have a lot of health. You know, so that's how the NFTs actually relate to the game. Your NFT will affect it.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because you know, everybody hears NFT game and they assume play to earn, and that's not where we're starting. We may get there eventually, but the fact that despite the fact that it's not play to earn, you can still control your NFT to a certain extent and your character to a certain extent and upgrade them and things like that, and just to help you win the game and unlock whatever features may come in the future. So
Right.
it's a
But
really
also,
cool spin on it.
yeah, also you will see your Crowfolk within the home tree of the game. So
Right.
the home tree is where Red continuously comes back to. You know, it's like his hub basically. It's where you're given quests. It's where you drop off your supplies, and it's where you well, I mean that's getting into the story a bit much, but it features heavily basically. And like I say, we're actually using this unique combination generative thing to populate the home tree. So you will see your Crowfolk in there. There's only 999 of them, and they're going to be, well, they're either going to be in forefront or in the background, but you'll definitely see your combination. You know.
Yeah, no, I just think the entire concept is so cool. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, join the Discord, follow us on Twitter, come prepared to mint. We're looking at a date of March 1st for mint, and yeah, it's going to be really awesome. Really cool.
Agreed. I'm excited. I'm excited. So speaking of NFTs, other NFTs, I suppose you have some news.
Yeah, I've got some news. I have, again, all the interesting news seems to come from your part of the world. This article actually just came across as I was preparing, so I didn't have a chance, as usual, to read through it fully. But NFTs seized by UK tax authorities for the first time. The tax authority seized 3 NFTs as part of a 1.4 million pound fraud case. So Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. How do you seize an NFT? The authority.
I saw that headline and it raised many questions in my head, and I was like, I'm not gonna. Well, I guess I told myself I'll read that later, and then I never got around to it. But I don't know. It's good if fraud is being stopped. But
Agreed.
for some reason, I had this sort of hit the brakes moment where I'm like, hold on, how'd the government do that?
Okay, so
Yeah.
the suspected fraud is alleged to have involved 250 fake companies, and the 3 suspects apparently used everything from fake addresses, prepaid phones, VPNs, and stolen identities to hide their activities. The HMRC has not taken control of the NFTs, but it is using a court order to prevent them from being sold. Well, I suppose in that case, because they already know the people who own them, you're only going to get yourself in more trouble if you violate that court order and sell those NFTs. But
Yeah, I suppose so.
nothing, I mean, if they really wanted to, they could still sell those NFTs. I just don't know what the point would be
Yeah.
at that point, I suppose. Just get yourself in more trouble.
Yeah. Or you know, sell it to pay for your fucking lawyer's bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you're going to need anyway.
Yeah, seriously. Well, yeah, they seized 5,000 pounds worth of crypto assets, and it's a 1.4 million pound fraud case. And then,
So I'm just trying to read it here. What's how did they get what? Is it 1 point? They made 1.4 million due to fraud. Is that?
I think that's what they're saying. They're basically saying that without saying, this article is really not saying anything, but my assumption is that they probably participated in some sort of NFT scam.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, comeuppance is a bit of comeuppance is good. I must say, I've never been rug pulled myself, but the pain it's caused people, you know, well, you hear horror stories.
It's really puts a whole damper on this. Yes, the NFT space and crypto space is Wild West, and some of that is by design. You know, that's kind of what you want the decentralized space to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, Wild West is going to turn off a lot of investors, a lot of legitimate investors, a lot of, you know, there's another headline I didn't bring up, but you know, your retail investor, you're someone who just does it, you know, not as a full-time job. They're being discouraged from investing in NFTs by advisors because of how theoretically unsafe it can be.
Yeah. It's true. It's very risky, and but with high risk typically comes high rewards. And I think that is the case in crypto. It is a high risk, high rewards game.
It definitely is, at least at the moment, for sure. There's apparently a Twitter account called @NFTEthics, which is working to uncover rug pulls and scams.
Nice.
And there was a mint today called Akira, which apparently ended up being a rug pull. So not ideal. And you know, while we're on the subject of fraud and rug pulls and stuff, I have this other headline: NFT marketplace suspends most sales, citing rampant fakes and plagiarism. Right. So this is the marketplace that do you remember when Jack Dorsey founded Twitter, and he sold his first tweet as an NFT, sold for $2.9 million. So this is the platform called Valuables. So the marketplace itself is called Cent, C-E-N-T, cent.co. And they have an arm called Valuables, and that's where you can mint your tweets as NFTs. But for their non-Twitter part of their NFT marketplace, that's what they've suspended. They've said it's just too much, too many fakes, too much plagiarism. They couldn't guarantee what they were selling, basically.
Yeah.
So
you do get a shit ton. Like every successful project, and even not so successful project, seems to have so many like spin-offs, you know, unofficial spin-offs or clones, or and eventually like a clone of a clone of a clone just becomes like pure plagiarism, really.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really not what we like to see. And even some of the most savvy NFT people I know are starting to take a step back and saying, you know, I'm not going to mint everything anymore. I'm going to mint. And for those of you unfamiliar with the terminology, when you mint something, basically you are the first purchaser of an NFT, you're minting it, as opposed to buying it on the secondary market. So I know quite a few people who are saying, well, I'm just going to stop minting things, or I'm going to wait, and really, instead of, you know, dividing my research between 5 projects, I'm gonna just research one project that I'll either buy into or I won't.
Yeah, there does seem to be a consolidation, I guess you could say, of all right, I'm not going to spread myself too thin and not do the proper research and everything. I'm just going to pick a few and get really deep into it, as opposed to mint here, mint there, mint there, and there, and there. So it's more like, yes, have a look and then focus in on just a few. Whatever project I've seen recently, the mint price is, well, the mint price is the mint price, but then within a couple of days it's about half that price on the secondary market.
Right.
So it's almost like, why would you mint just now anyway?
Right.
Just if you do like something, buy it for cheaper. But I don't know. It's have you seen anything the floor price hasn't dropped?
I have, in general, yeah. It's funny. I've said this before. One of the ironies of my job working 24/7 in NFTs is that I don't have the time to explore NFTs for fun anymore. So I don't really see a lot of the new projects unless I'm somehow involved with them. So, the one that comes to mind is there's a Solana project called Dapper Ducks. That's a project that Heroes and Villains is about to partner with for some staking bonuses. And Dapper Ducks is above its floor is above what it originally minted for. So,
is there no drop at all? They're not dropping him back up again?
That I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. But that's not necessarily the worst thing, because it does. I don't understand why people sell something almost immediately for half of what they bought it for.
Yeah.
Right. If you're that much of a paper hands, why mint it in the first place? Because it's also unrealistic to expect a return on investment in an hour. I know time moves quickly in the NFT space, and most people expect a return on investment pretty damn quickly within a few months. But to expect it within a few hours and then cut your losses if you don't get it within a few hours seems silly to me. But that's where you also have a lot of opportunity to come in, as you were saying before, pick something up off secondary market instead of minting it. Of course, if nobody mints anything, then there's none to be had on the secondary market, though.
Yeah. I would say the things that I missed out on minting, and typically it's few and far between. I'm not a big collector or anything, but I did. All you have to do is wait. But if I was able to mint, I would have done it.
Right.
But some of them just go too fast, or the whitelist is extensive and the public sale is like just peanuts. I've seen that last one. That was Dronies, the last one I was looking at. They had like a fucking 8,000 whitelist, maybe 2,000 left for public sale. Just so many people couldn't mint on public sale. It was wild.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's the exposure you want, and that's the exposure you hope for. You want people to want to be on the whitelist, basically. I wonder if, and certainly asking you while we're recording is the right way to go about it. I wonder if it makes sense to offer our podcast listeners an opportunity to join the Crowfolk whitelist.
That would make sense. I think so.
See, and
because if they listen to us,
if he had said no, you just wouldn't be hearing this. I would have cut it out. But since he said that makes sense, well, then I'll keep it in, and we'll come out with some more specific information on how you can do that. Again, by visiting the Discord.
That's right.
So the other thing that I wanted to share, the other piece of news that I wanted to share, unfortunately, it's sort of along the lines of what we've already been talking about, but unofficial Magic the Gathering NFT project interrupted as Wizards of the Coast summon lawyers. They played the summon lawyer card, and no doubt that they've got decks just full of lawyers waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Magic the Gathering publisher Wizards of the Coast has dropped the cease and desist hammer on an NFT project called MTG DAO. Another one of these DAOs doing things that they really shouldn't be able to do, just like Spice DAO did in buying the rights to nothing except for a physical book. You know, so yeah, this DAO is trying to create Magic the Gathering NFTs, and Wizards of the Coast said no thank you.
That's fair enough. Do you like, is it the same art or is it like something else entirely, you know? Like if they're minting the same cards as Magic the Gathering, then I would say, yeah, big problem.
Yeah,
But if it's like a Magic the Gathering sort of clone, except with different characters or different illustrations, you know, then maybe not.
From the white paper, players will need the actual card in order to legally play the game, whether that be a paper card, a card on Arena, or a card on MTGO, which I assume is Magic the Gathering Online.
Right.
The NFTs aren't meant to establish ownership of the card. It will only be used to allow that card to be played in MTG DAO format. So they're basically saying you still have to acquire all the Magic the Gathering stuff, and then we'll just set up the online version, which seems kind of
pointless.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Because if you can play it online, why wouldn't you just play it online? I suppose there's money involved, but that reminds me, that's similar to, you know, how you get like old console emulators, like SNES or Sega or PlayStation X even. I think legally you can own an emulator and own the ROMs for the games, so long as you have physical copies of the games, you know,
I think
something to that effect.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what they're trying to do with this Magic the Gathering DAO, but it failed, I guess, miserably because they got the cease and desist.
It did not do a good job. You appear to be operating under the mistaken assumption that the project would be legal because you would allow the reproduction of Magic cards in the form of NFTs only by a player who had purchased a physical card, a card on Arena, or a card on Magic the Gathering Online, the letter states. This is not correct. It is the exclusive right of the copyright owner to reproduce the copyrighted work, such as a Magic card, in any format. The letter then goes on to state that Wizards of the Coast is currently evaluating its future plans regarding NFTs and the Magic the Gathering cards. A decision on that front currently hasn't been made, but use of NFTs in connection with Wizards' intellectual property is therefore strictly prohibited. So it sounds like they were trying to reverse apply, because you know there's that concept that exists in NFTs where if you own the NFT, then you own all the rights associated with it, right? You can create your own anything based on that NFT that you own. So it sounds like they were trying to retroactively apply that to say, well, you own the card, therefore we should be able to have the rights to an NFT based off of it. But it doesn't work that way.
No, I guess not. They've learned.
Maybe they've learned.
Yeah, well,
they haven't though.
No.
After sharing the email, MTG DAO posted a lengthy Twitter thread defending the principles of the project, which, to be blunt, sound to me more like a reason to stay away from it entirely. This attitude makes the success of their own NFT project tenuous, says MTG DAO. There is clear pushback from most of the gaming community against NFTs. It's no wonder gamers are wary and disgusted. I don't think that's... Yes, there are gamers giving pushback on NFTs, and there are the way that Wizards of the Coast is treating this, but I don't think you can draw the connection as these people have. I think they're completely unrelated.
No. Yeah, that just sounds like someone flailing for something to stick. You know, I'll just blurt out some shit and maybe it'll make sense.
Exactly.
But obviously it doesn't.
No.
But it sounds like Magic the Gathering, you know, are sort of readying the firing the forges, so to speak. Let's make sure no one else is doing this and pave our way for NFTs to happen.
And why wouldn't they? I mean, it's just there are so many NFT trading card games already.
Yeah.
That I don't know why they wouldn't just do this. It just lends itself. They don't even have to. I mean, hell, the biggest costs associated with NFTs are art and marketing, and they've got both of those locked up. already.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. And it makes me think everybody, but gamers in this particular instance seem to think that NFTs are a big money-making scheme and nothing else. And to be sure, there is money to be made, and that's why companies are interested.
Yeah.
However, like NFTs don't have to be expensive. You know, they can be infinitely cheap. And there are blockchains that provide, you know, gasless transactions. It doesn't cost you a thing, and you know, well, the one that comes to mind is game credits for me or wax for yourself.
Right. Exactly.
There's no cost involved for the gamer. It's just like as if you were buying a cosmetic item for I don't know, like Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
That could be an NFT that you could own personally and you could trade, and your platform would take a 2% fee or something, but the rest of the cash would go to you. You know, so it's like pushback, but for no reason. I think it's just, I guess it's just not understanding well what it would entail. But there is this whole, you know, NFTs are wildly expensive, and a lot of them are still. You know, ours will be wildly expensive.
Wildly expensive. We only need to
approximately.
Sell one.
That's right. For full game development, you know.
Yeah. Hey, if a Bored Ape can sell for 300,000, there's no reason a mischievous crow can't sell for.
That's right. That's
300,000.
Holy shit! I saw a project that was minting at 8 Ether. Did you see that?
At
something to do with apes.
Ether.
Yeah.
I did not see that. 8 Ether.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try and find it for next podcast, but I'm certain that I saw people on Twitter saying you paid 8 Ether for this. In fact, yeah, it was an ape, like it was a 3D ape, and it had a hat on, and it had like an ear going through the hat, like it wasn't like the art was shit, basically. People were complaining, I can't believe I paid 8 Ether for this to mint.
Well, nobody forced you.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah, I'll find that for next time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well,
just to relate to people who aren't into NFTs, 1 Ether is what's about 3,000 just now, $3,000.
Yeah, about that.
So, you know, times that by 8, and here's where my times tables don't go well. Was it $24,000?
That seems to be right. So $24,000 on a shitty piece of art.
Yeah, to mint something, and typically your mint price is 0.1 ETH, which is, you know, $300. So yeah, it's a big leap. That's just unimaginable mint price. You know, even 1 ETH is pretty unimaginable for me. But
well, how much did those handmade?
Handmaids,
yeah. How much did those handmaids thing end up going for?
That is pretty cheap, but they've not sold yet. What's happening with them, I believe, is they released 33 of the handmaids out of 718, I think, and each handmaid is literally put together by hand. I don't think it's generative. Or hold on. Yeah, the last I heard from the guy, this is When Reveal, who's on the Discord often. Shout out to When Reveal. When Reveal is a good name. He told us, I guess, the community, that okay, we're not drawing them all by hand. We're figuring out how to do them generatively. The plan was, I think, to draw them all by hand. But yeah, there was 33 released already, and they were sold for 0.0718.
Wow.
Which is, you know, not expensive at all. That's maybe $200 or something.
That's a really good price.
A really good price. But obviously that is not sustainable for one artist to draw 718. Although, like, if you pop them out, like, you know, a few a day, it's a decent work, you know, it's a decent payday, but
take half a year or a year. Yeah, it's a long time, a long project, but that's what people want to see. People in for the long haul. So, but no, if they could figure out a way to generate it and keep the same charm, then that's obviously the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's the latest I heard. They're still minting opportunities, which is to say they raffle away positions to mint. Like that's not how you say it. Mint spots, I think they called it. which is basically you win the opportunity to mint. It's not like a giveaway, what we're doing, where we give it away for free. They're like, no, you get the opportunity to mint, which I find is almost it's appealing, you know. It's like, oh, it's so, oh, like got a little frisson, as they would say in French. You know, a little spine tingle. You know, it's like, oh my, opportunity to mint. You know, it's all in the head. You know, it's like psychology. I will give you the opportunity to mint, sir. It's like, well.
You should feel so lucky that we will allow you to purchase our product. I will allow you to give me money, I suppose.
I mean, let's be fair though. For 0.0718 ETH, it is a steal. It would be a great opportunity, you know.
Agreed. That's one where I can see the floor starting high and staying high.
Yeah, I think it's got a higher floor already. In fact, let me just look up briefly. Do you know if I can share my screen on this?
One way or another, we'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I saw the mints happening at 0.0718, which is very cheap, but also, let me see, the floor price is 0.65. Jesus.
Okay, well done.
Yep, that's good. Well, there's an offer 0.2. I mean, you've got
one listed for 360. Yeah. Good.
Like I wouldn't be selling mine. Like, oh, that's a good price, 7.18 ETH, because they're sold for, you know, it's that was at 100.
Make
100x return.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Even that 0.65, the one that's on sale for 0.65, it's like, well, might have to snap that up.
Totally.
It makes sense. I mean, maybe this is a good model. Release 50, get some hype, get a high floor, and then release the rest.
Yeah, agreed. Is that us going to have to discuss what next to do with Crowfolk? Eh?
That's right. Yeah. You're hearing discussions live on air, folks.
Yeah. So what was that, minting March the 1st? I never said that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Jason?
I never heard that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no, same. But yeah, great project anyway. And I don't know, like all these, I think it's 33 items. Yeah, 33 items. They're all very different. They're all, I know, just super class. I love them.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it.
So yeah. Well, to answer your initial question anyway, 0.0718. It's
a good price. It's a good
price.
I
don't know why it's that number actually. 718.
Didn't you say there was going to be 718 available?
Yes, but I like, not just that. I mean, why did they pick 718 available?
Maybe just random. Somebody likes the number 7 and 18. I don't know.
must be that, you know. No reason.
Awesome. So
should we Amazon Prime Video recently released the trailer to the Rings of Power, which is the Lord of the Rings series, or the Silmarillion series by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is obviously Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all that jazz. All the good stuff.
It's a prequel to The Hobbit, essentially.
Yeah, that's right. To the films.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen it yet. I watched it once earlier, and I would happy to see it again. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to share it on YouTube or whatnot because of copyright or whatever.
Yeah, but, I would say probably not, but
yeah,
everybody.
It's available to all anyway to watch.
You just need to search. You just need to search the Rings of Power teaser trailer, and you'll be able to watch it. So I'm wondering if maybe what we want to do is, if we want to give our audience an opportunity to pull up that trailer, Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power teaser trailer from Prime Video.
And we'll play it in about 20 seconds. So you've got 20 seconds, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I watched it earlier today. Was it today? I think it was today. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The days blend into each other, Jason. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
Well, I do know what day it is. It's Tuesday because we podcast on Tuesday.
Podcast on Tuesday. Podcast day.
The only thing keeping me sane. But yeah, I watched it and I was impressed, and I'm excited for it. And I think it said 2nd of September for release,
Okay.
which is half a year away or more.
I know.
think.
What the hell? Well, more time to watch The Witcher and The Expanse in the interim.
Yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what,
Sorry.
I started watching the Boba Fett thing, Book of Boba Fett.
Okay. Yeah.
And I liked it. The community, comic book community that I am in, like Facebook's my comic book stuff and like Twitter's my NFT stuff. Facebook was ablaze with Book of Boba Fett sucks. This is terrible. And then episode 8, like it waited until episode 8 to get good. But the first 2 episodes for me, I was like, damn, this is exciting. This is action packed. This is cool. I love it. So I don't know what the the comic book folk are little bitches. That's what I got from that.
Great for you to say.
Have my bread and butter. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Have you watched The Mandalorian? Either season of The Mandalorian? Okay. Yeah, because to me, this was more like season 3 of The Mandalorian, really, than season 1 of Book of Boba Fett. But
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it.
I like it though. Like it's still got that sort of Western feel to it. It's like Star Wars Western,
Exactly.
Yeah, and I suppose it is like in the desert.
It's amazing that Disney can make great Star Wars TV shows, but they can't make a good Star Wars movie.
I haven't watched the final one yet, the Return of Skywalker or something. But
Rise of Skywalker, which should have been titled Rise of blank, because that would be a spoiler and I don't want to spoil it for you. But I think that entire final trilogy really had some good ideas that were just completely squandered.
I don't know enough about Star Wars to say, to be honest. This is the thing, like I'm an armchair Star Wars guy. I'll watch it and I'm happy and I enjoy it, but I don't get too in depth with it, I guess similar to the Lord of the Ring. And also these characters that I'm going to see, I am not going to recognize, maybe by name. I've played the video game to the Shadow of War, was that Mordor, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, I think. And that featured some characters. Wardor. That features some characters from the Silmarillion, so I recognize like Celebrimbor, Galadriel, and that's it basically. Elrond, the elf guy, Agent Smith, as we like to call him. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Cool. All right. Well, I'm pumped. Let's
do it.
So yeah, everybody, if you want to start your trailer, I'm going to cut to a title screen so that we're not actually playing the trailer, and we can hit play. You're ready?
I'm good.
All right, we can hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering. I can feel it.
Now, that's
Very
pretty fucking wicked.
Yeah, I agree.
Those landscapes, the environments are just epic. The fight scenes. I don't know. They've done it right.
Where the camera swings around and they put the ice pick into the ice wall. And, before there were kings, before there was a fellowship. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. That's really good.
A little
That's really good.
frisson again, you know.
Frisson, yeah. Now that I know what that means, I'm going to say it more often.
As the French would say.
As the French
Frisson.
would say, some je ne sais quoi.
Certain je ne sais quoi. Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. Zut alors. Now I'm just quoting Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live. Played a character where every third phrase would be "Zut alors," and he'd get up and dance.
Yeah, oh right, the dancing is very French as well.
Yeah, exactly. Wearing a beret,
baguette under the arm, striped shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So I'm super pumped for that. But yeah, I guess now that Book of Boba Fett is complete, I'll have to, well, not have to, I will go back to The Witcher, because I think I only got 3 episodes in and I'm really enjoying it, but there's always so much else to do. Yeah,
there's always something else. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying the Book of Boba Fett. The Witcher is awesome as well. Expanse, I think I told you, or did I? I watched the 2nd episode of The Expanse.
Oh, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell us. Okay. Please tell us.
I will tell you all. I watched the 2nd episode and it was good. It wasn't as good as the first, though. It's almost like this episode could have not happened, just because basically the guy is lost in space, who got destroyed by the Mars ship at the start of the story. We're still lost in space, and then they had this oxygen crisis. They got fixed, and then at the end of the episode, they're still lost in space, and Mars is coming back. So it's like, all right, well, it's a bit like a roundabout, but
kind of a bottle episode.
Yeah, but that on that storyline only, because like you've got a detective guy. He's sort of going in deeper to the missing girl case, and also we see a little bit of the this is still within the Belters area, I believe, but you've got like your upper class Belters, which have plants and a bit more water, and we learned that water is more scarce because there's a couple of kids that are able to siphon off a little bit of water, and they're selling it for good money and on that jazz. So yeah, there is a bit more exploration and that sort of thing, but the main storyline, I assume, is the main storyline, at least with the war sort of stealthy shit going on. I felt it was like there could have been something else there, because you just ended up back in the same place, but overall I like it. That's my only critique.
They are very they're based on a series of books, and so they do try they were trying to be somewhat what's the word, they wanted to remain true to the series, true to the books. So probably a lot of stuff that they show are nods to the books, but it didn't necessarily have to be in the greater series. Good. Well, I'm glad you stuck with it, and oh man, I cannot wait for the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. And then I just remembered, and I'll have to try to remember this and give you a reminder that starting March 23rd, we can do that real-time Wheel of Time. I don't know where we're going to fit in time to start reading now, but I'm sure we will. It will, again, it's for the podcast, so we can justify it that way.
It is work after all.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to dig out the old books. Like they're gonna be. When I started reading the Wheel of Time, I was reading it in the bath, and basically the books were disintegrating from all the moisture,
Right.
But they'll have to do another turn, because times are ticking. It's coming.
I tend to be a physical media guy, but I'm really thinking I may just end up buying them on the Apple bookstore or the Kobo or Kindle or whatever it's called, whatever your e-reader of choice is, and I may just do it that way.
Yeah, I think for me it would depend on price. If I can get them for cheap on Kindle, then I'll do it, because I read at night, like in bed, and Rosanna can't have a light on when she's sleeping, so I read on the iPad, which has dark mode and a very dimmable screen.
Right.
and that works for me, you know. So I'll just read to my heart's content until I fall asleep.
So that may okay. Have you ever totally way off now, but have you ever been reading, lying down, you got your iPad, and then boom, you just drop it on your face?
Oh man, I feel that my teeth are about to smash every time it hits me, man. Jesus.
Yeah. I used to when I used to work for Apple, I used to use that as if I was getting along well with a customer and they were deciding between a big sized iPad and an iPad mini, I would always say, well, you know, one of the benefits of the mini is that when you're reading at night and it smashes you in the face, it hurts a lot less. So
I bet. Jesus. It is like I jerk awake now because I'm like, oh my god, I fell asleep while I was reading, because it is going to smash me in the face. Like it's the 12.9-inch iPad, and it's a heavy fuck.
yeah, that's a heavy one. Oh man.
My poor teeth.
Well, but you know, most accidents happen at home, so just
that's true.
add this as another one.
iPad assault.
iPad assault. So we should get to our comedy bit of the week before we wrap up.
Right.
But before we get there, I wanted to say, so my parents, my dad and stepmom listen to this podcast. Shout out to Neil and Linda, and they got the Jew joke, the best Jew joke. They got that immediately. And Linda sent me an email explaining to me the fact that a conversation between two Jewish men would never go, oh, everything's fine. Right. It would delve deeper into the oh, business is bad, this, can you believe this, the customers, this and that. So hey, it worked. Somebody got it, and so I'm glad. I'm disappointed I wasn't as on the ball for that one.
There must be several levels to this joke, because when I had understood it as two Jewish people having a conversation, you know, like, how's business? Great. Like, I thought it was funny because I was like, well, of course it's great because Jews are great at business, you know?
Right.
I was like, all right, so it's funny in that aspect. And then when it was like two Gentiles are speaking about it, and it was like, great. I was like, oh, it's because it's unexpected because they're not Jewish. And now it's the level of a conversation for Jews is not that simple, you know. It has to.
That's right.
It's never that simple.
There is always complaining. You know, we're a complaining culture. That's okay.
Because I've laughed at all. Yeah, I've laughed at all three levels so far. Like my misunderstanding it, my second misunderstanding it of, and now this. I'm like, all right, cool. It's fun. It's funny all around. I like it.
The gift that keeps on giving. Well, this comedy bit is, are you familiar with the talk show wars that happened in the United States back in 2014 when between Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien? Did that make it over there?
I don't think so. Although I have seen a lot of Conan O'Brien, and there is some like, we don't talk about Leno here, you know,
right?
Whenever he's mentioned.
So very, very briefly, and for anybody who didn't know or who has forgotten since, in May 2009, Jay Leno signed what was supposed to be his final contract with NBC. 5-year contract. He'd retire in May 2014, and the Tonight Show would go over to Conan O'Brien. So in May 2014, that's almost what happened. The Tonight Show did pass over to Conan O'Brien, but Jay wasn't ready to retire and his ratings were still relatively good. So NBC gave him a 10 o'clock nightly show. And then basically over time, Jay was able to sort of claw his way back, and NBC gave Conan an ultimatum, which was basically let Jay host 11 to midnight and we'll move the Tonight Show back to midnight, or thank you very much for your services. And so Conan was like, well, the Tonight Show that starts after midnight is not the Tonight Show anymore, right? And I don't want to be a part of it. So Jay ended up kind of well, I am firmly on the Conan side, so I'll say Jay ended up stabbing Conan in the back and retook over the Tonight Show. So after that was announced, I believe the premise for this bit is after it was announced, but after it was announced that Jay was going back to the Tonight Show, but before he had actually gone back to the Tonight Show, Jay Leno had Jimmy Kimmel, who has his own talk show as well, had Jimmy Kimmel on his 10 o'clock show, presumably just to have a funny interaction. But what ends up happening is Jimmy Kimmel digs at Leno the entire time and gives subtle insults and subtle digs and is entirely referencing how Jay screwed over Conan. So that's what this bit is. It's Jay Leno trying to ask Kimmel questions and Kimmel just coming back with digs at Leno's expense and on behalf of Conan O'Brien. And 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you got to interview anyone in the world, who would it be? You and Conan together. Oh, okay. I would like to have the two of you. If Conan won't do it, I'd like just you. In fact, I'd like to do 12 at 12 with you tomorrow night. Really? If you would be willing to do that, because I have a lot of questions to ask you about this whole thing. I don't think people care about what I have to say. Yeah. I agree with that. Tomorrow night, tomorrow night's bad for me. All right, let's move on. Oh, it is bad? Number 5, you're known for pranks. What's the best prank you ever pulled? Well, when my Aunt Chippy was at work, I painted her house orange and green once, and she was not happy. Really? The whole outside of the house was orange. Yeah. But I think the best prank I ever pulled was I told the guy that 5 years from now, I'm going to give you my show. And then when the 5 years came, I gave it to him, and then I took it back almost instantly. All right. I think he works at Fox or something. Yeah, I got you. All right, number 6. Ever order anything off the TV? Like NBC ordered your show off the TV? Actually, something like that, yeah. No, I will order if I see an infomercial more than 9 times, I will order the product. I have a Snuggie, a Slanket, I have Chia Pets, I have Mighty Putty. I tried to order Ryan Seacrest once, but he wouldn't come. Number 7, you grew up in Las Vegas and hosted the Man Show. What's the most number of lap dances you've had in one night? Jay, my mother's watching the show, so... Actually, no, wait a minute. The show's canceled, right? Nobody's watching the show. My mother's not watching. I'm not much of a lap dance guy. I'm more of a lap band guy myself. Lap band guy. Yes. Yeah. I don't like, strippers I don't like in general because you have this phony relationship with them for money. Similar to that of when you and Conan were on the Tonight Show together, passing the torch. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What do you fear most? Volcanoes. Volcanoes. Tidal waves. Okay. Yeah, I lived in Seattle. I was scared of Mount Rainier. It just sat there, but I was scared of it. Okay. I have dreams about tidal waves. All right. I fear the network will move my show to 10 o'clock. I had that nightmare. Yeah. All right, number 9. Number 9. Is there anything you haven't hosted that you want to host? Oh, this is a trick, right? Where you get me to host the Tonight Show and then take it back from me? No. I'm not gonna listen. Listen, Lucy, I'm not Charlie Brown. I don't fall for that trick. No, I'd say the Soul Train Awards. Soul Train Awards. The Soul Train Awards. And finally, number 10, A, B, or C. You came on at 10 at 10 because A, you love innovative satellite technology. B, you're promoting your own show. C, you want to keep me happy in case I decide to switch to ABC. It's, you know what, it's all of the above, really. Listen, Jay, Conan and I have children.
I'm sorry.
All you have to take care of is cars.
That's right.
I mean, we have lives to lead here. You've got $800 million. For God's sakes, leave our shows alone.
A plea from Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy, thank you very much, my friend.
That's good.
And just how uncomfortable Jay is and isn't even really hiding it.
Yeah. I think you've done the right thing, sort of just carrying on and plowing through.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
it would have
no,
been way
that's
more
good.
awkward if he had thrown a shit fit.
wow.
I watched another. Apparently, Jimmy Kimmel is known for giving shit to his fellow co-hosts because I was watching him on an episode of James Corden, and Corden was playing a kind of a truth or dare game with him where you either had to answer a question or eat like a gross food item, you know, like chicken feed or 1,000-year-old egg or something like that. And Kimmel went off of the card, like he did not read the question which was written for him off the card, and he said to Corden, I want you to name 3 of the cameramen in this room. And Corden couldn't do it, couldn't name his own cameraman.
God damn.
Yeah. So
That's good. Putting people on the spot is great. And I'm never good on the spot. I'm never good even when I've prepared, really. So like on the spot is just constantly for me.
yeah.
It's just so uncomfortable. You know, it's like, here, what did you do yesterday? It's like, what did you actually do? And I'm like, who knows, you know? Yeah, but did I shower properly? No, and Christ, I don't know. But obviously, I was very productive, and I've done so many things, but I just can't remember.
Who's got time for a short-term memory when you're busy doing diggers and things?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well,
Yep.
Once again, we've done it. I think we've done a very successful episode 08 of the podcast.
Agreed.
And as always, we really appreciate everybody for tuning in, for listening, for coming to YouTube, or for visiting us in your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, if you think you have an interesting expertise in something that our audience would enjoy, please send us an email to asknftpod@gmail.com, asknftpod@gmail.com, and make sure to visit us on our website, where you'll now also be able to find a link to the Crowfolk Discord, and that is nearlyfreshtopics.com. Thank you very much for listening and watching.
Fresh out.
That's what I was waiting for.